So now we have switched to our OAS Zoo Shop instance, and as you can see that this is the application, right? So if you remember the application testing methodology that we have discussed, just navigate the application as a normal user to see that what are the various features. This is the first thing when I start a pen test or a bug bounty program or any target I do is to just quickly take a look. So this is my URL where I have actually do the testing. So this is my personal Heroku instance. So when you try, this might be down, and please do not try to load or bombard it if it's up. And this is not where you are supposed to do the actual testing. The first thing is like I quickly navigate. Okay, this is the page. There are various like pages to go through. Then if I click on any product, it says that there are some crown bonuses. This is the price. There are 0 reviews. So this tells me that there is a review functionality. They are having some images stored. So I will quickly check and see if how these images are stored. So they are storing some into the public asset path. Then I will there is a search functionality. Let's see how this works. So okay, this reflects something over the query parameter, but nothing in the UI. Oh, okay, this is some in the UI as well. Then there is some language changing options. There are multiple languages, and there are some, I guess, some marking over here. I'm not sure why these marking are there. Then in the side menu, there is a customer feedback option. Let's see what it is. Okay, you can basically provide a feedback over here. Then there is some about us page, which basically gives about who they are. Then let's say there is some GitHub account connected to them. I guess this redirect to the Juice Shops wiki. So this is not part of scope. Let's say the client told us that this is not the part of scope. Then this tells us that how the application is built upon. They are using AngularJS. They are using, I guess, SAS, which is a modern CSS writing framework. They are using JavaScript. They are using some Node.js, some database, I guess, as a Mongo or something. Then there's an option called photo wall. Okay, there is no result found on the photo wall as well. And then there is something called login functionality, where you can go and log in. There is a forget password functionality, remember me, and there's not yet a customer. This allows you to register. So let me just quickly register it. Since it's a demo application, I will just give any credential. And it registered me successfully, and there is no email verification because it's a demo application. So I will assume that this is not an issue over here. Let's quickly go and check. Okay, so this is how the application looks like from inside. There are various items. Okay, there are a lot of things actually. So when I click on item, I can add a review over here. Even if I haven't purchased it, I can give maximum 160 characters. After giving a review, let's say something, I can submit it. The review has been saved. The review will reflect in the real time. The review is posted on hersh@hersh.com. When somebody will thumbs up, you will see a thumbs up on the review. So this looks like an interesting application with a lot of features which we can basically abuse. So let's just quickly crawl through the various functionality one by one so that we will have a quick idea that what the application is all about. So once I do, an apple juice will be added to my cart. Hopefully they will ship me. And then there's a delete option, quantity increase option, total price. You will be able to check out. Since I have no address, I can add a new address over here. There are saved address, payment option, digital wallet, order history. Oh, there are private and security option as well, like last login IP, 2FA config, change password, request data export, recycle, track order. So this is, I guess, a lot of functionalities are there. There's also a feature for complain, and you can also take a deluxe membership from here. So these are the few features which were not available to me when I was not logged in. So if you can assume from an attacker devil mindset, there's a lot of things we can do here. So I just quickly navigated the application. Now let me just quickly take this URL. Okay, I will just quickly take this URL and I will go to where my tools are installed, and I will then go to the tools directory. Then I will further go to my SSL checking script, although they are not using SSL because it's already showing me not secure, but let's assume they're using SSL, right? So this is how I check for SSL issues. Just provide this thing. although it's not using HTTPS, so obviously it will show me an error that is not what you meant probably. So just for an assumption, I'm giving HTTPS instead of HTTP. And since it's on Heroku and I haven't configured anything, it's just a quick setup. You will see that there are TLS version 1 and 1.1 supported, which are deprecated. There are some obsolete ciphers offered, and then you will see some more findings over here. So as soon as I see that there are some deprecated TLS protocols 1.1 and 1, right, this is a finding itself. It will go under TLS misconfiguration if you are doing a pen test. In bug bounty program, this is usually not accepted. So make sure one more thing, that whatever I'm showing you right over here is related to the pen test, not related to the bug bounty. Obviously, you can utilize this knowledge for bug bounty, but my goal is to tell you things from a pen tester's perspective. Okay, so once the scan is complete, you will see that there are some certain things that which are not offered. X powered by header says this is powered by Express framework. It is vulnerable to secure client initiated renegotiation. It can lead to a DOS attack. Okay, it's potentially vulnerable to breach attack. It's vulnerable to I guess beast. Then it's vulnerable to Lucky 13, and then you will see some random information. Overall grade is capped to B. And then since it's hosted online on a Heroku server, it will have multiple IPs and it will scan all those. So this is the first thing that I go and usually check for. So I usually automate this and then analyze the result later on, but let me just quickly show you side by side. Then I will go to my dir search. Then I will say dir search.py. And since if you remember, like in the recon video, we already discussed how to use dir search. I will just quickly use the syntax, not just going through the things completely. I will just again copy this URL. I will paste it over here. Then I will recursively do it 3 times, and then I will say threads. I want 200 threads and let it run. So while the time directory fuzzing is running, I will leave it on this side, and then I will start security headers.com, and then I will analyze for the security headers, the missing security headers. And as you can see, there are no permission policies, CSP and refer policies set. Okay, so these are the things which are something that I got. This site is using HTTP, not HTTPS. So since I already know that this site is using HTTP, obviously they might not use HSTS header. So just quickly to confirm, I will just simply say curl, then -ik to see the headers, and then this, and let it go. So as you can see, that server is Cowboy server, which is because of its hosted on Heroku. It's, I guess Cowboy is for Ruby. And then I don't see any strict transport security header over here. Let me just quickly verify if it's there. Okay, so this is the second finding, that there is no HSTS header implemented, but since it's already your HTTP, I assume that it's a misconfiguration itself, that they are not using secure protocol. But let's assume they're using HTTPS and then they are not having HSTS set. This is surely a different issue. Then you can obviously report this one in a pen test as a like a low security issue, but since the X content type and X frame options are set, that's okay. But if X XSS protection header is missing, you can report it. Okay, so these are a few things. Now let's go and check for the vulnerable JavaScript files. I use retire.js extension, and as you can see that jQuery 2.2.4 is being used here, which is vulnerable to the various CVs listed here. This is the again a finding component with known vulnerabilities. Okay. Oh, and I solved an error. I guess there are some challenges in this application which it shows that you will solve this, you will solve that. So we will ignore this for a while, because I don't want to check what are the various challenges over here. I just want to test as a normal user and cover as much as possible. Now, once this is done, I will check for the various services running using Wapalizer. So it's running jQuery 2.2.4, it's running Angular 8.1.3. I will check if there is known vulnerabilities for Angular or jQuery, and similarly for Hammer.js. So this is a quick overview of what we can look for. There is a well-known folder having secure.txt. Let's just quickly go and see what's inside it. I guess there's nothing as such inside this particular folder. Yeah. So let's see, there's something called API docs. Let's see if there is something interesting over API docs. Interesting. There is a directory called FTP. So this looks interesting, an FTP server or something which might expose something. So let me go to this FTP directory. And as you can see, the recursiveness, this will, like, once the first level scan is complete, it will start picking up API docs, then it will start pick up API folder, then it pick up assets folder, so on and so forth. Sounds like there is nothing which I can see over here. What if I just remove this hash and let me try to access this. Let it happen. Okay, great. So as you can see now, I can list some FTP files over here, and there are some interesting information, it seems. So this is a security issue that a sensitive directory called FTP is publicly accessible, and I can access some sensitive information. I am considering these are some, like, since there is some coupon backup files, there is some acquisitions information, there is some, I guess, other information. So assuming that these are the sensitive files, let me quickly open them in some new folder, new tab, sorry. Okay, so these are some malware uploaded to this, and these are put it in the quarantine folder. So this is for sure a security issue, that they are exposing some sensitive information to an unauthenticated user without any sort of authorization checks or authentication checks. So this reveals that Express 4.17.1 is being used, and this reveals some of the application stack traces, again the security issue. It says that only MD and PDF files are allowed, so there might be some file upload functionality where somebody might have tried to upload some file formats other than the MD and PDF extensions. We will look at it once we will enter into the application. This coupon file again shows the same error, I guess. So what I will do is I will basically remove this dot back from here, and let's see if I can access .md file. And there is some information about the acquisition. This is some random text or something. I'm not interested in this because this is more of from a vulnerable application perspective, because these are, like, they sometimes host things from a CTF style as well. So we are not interested in this thing right now. So let's see what else we found from our scanning. Sounds like there's a robots.txt folder. You should always check robots.txt because sometimes you will find some hidden paths from there. So this also told me that there is an FTP folder already there, right? So if I actually don't even need to do a directory brute force if I have checked this first, right? So next I have a video folder over here. Let me just quickly check what it has. And there is some video. Let me see what this video is about. So again, when this you wanna shop online, there's a promo video of this. So we will ignore this. Okay, so this is something that we have already looked at. Let me quickly go back to the main application. The next thing is to look at the page source to see if there is something juicy or something sensitive. Look at the JavaScript files if there is something sensitive from an unauthenticated user's perspective first. So now I will quickly go and see view page source. There is not like nothing interesting or nothing much in terms of the page source. There are some normal information. It links me to YouTube page, and then there are some JavaScript files. Let me quickly open each of them one by one to see what they are all about. So polyfill and vendor.js are something like not sensitive in nature by default. As you can see, there is nothing interesting as of now. I'll quickly close it. This is something not our interest. This is a main ES 2015.js. The main JS file might sometimes have some interesting information. So what we will do is we will look for, say, username. We'll look for password. We'll look for API equals to API colon. Look for secret equals to. We'll look for some email alias, let's say gmail.com. So these are some of the ways where you can look for hard-coded information. Let's say I want to find for Google API key. I will search for AIZA. But since there is nothing, I will leave it as it is. So for now, I'm just closing the JavaScript files, just giving an idea that how you can go and navigate and search. So again, it says that you have solved a challenge. So I'm just again ignoring this banner. So let me just quickly go to inspect and just let me deattach this. Now in the sources, you can use this master search feature to search for the strings. Let's say I want to search for secret. So now the two files contain the secret word, right? Now let me open this main.es this ES file, and there should be an option to prettify this JS. I'm not sure where this option is. There should be. Okay, let me open some different file then. So these are some static resources. This should show me the prettified version, but I'm not sure why it's not showing. Okay, for a while we will just go and quickly see if we can find something from here, like username. This is another way where you can go and check for the secrets. I usually open this into either prettified mode, or I will use simply into this browser console that we just saw. Okay, so this is something more of from an unauthenticated user's perspective. The next thing is, like, we already have a login page. Okay, we already have this login page. So my goal is to check for the login based vulnerability, because this is the entry point. Now this is the email and this is the password field. This is the forget password, remember me, and login, and not a customer yet. So first of all, I will go and check. I will create an account over here. Now from this point onwards, I will turn on my proxy. I will go to my burp suite. I will first show you that how I set up the burp suite. So you will see there are some WebSocket being used into this application. So for now, I'm ignoring them. If you don't want to capture the WebSockets, you can go to proxy options and just disable them. Now, when you will go proxy intercept is on, you will refresh this page. Let's go to some other page. Let me see why this proxy is not capturing the information. Let's say test.com and then say test. Okay, this is working fine. I will say intercept is off. And when I will go to the target tab, you will see there are some other things as well. And whenever I will turn on the proxy, I will see that there are some other things like this Google APIs, and these are captured, and this sometimes irritates at least me. So what I will do is basically, once I have a single URL, or let's say set of URLs, let's say hirakuapp.com, and anything which is a subdomain of this is a part of scope. So what I will do is I will go to scope. I will use advanced scope control. Click on add app.com. I will simply use a regex. This regex does nothing but just will mention that every subdomain which is ending herokuapp.com will be part of scope. I will just click on OK and click on yes. Go to sitemap, click on show only in scope items, and boom, everything out of the scope is now gone. But still you will see the traffic from other sources. Let me refresh this and show you. So if you will open and do anything, you will still see the results from Google and other domains. So now to reduce this noise as well, you have to go to this option, and under this intercept client request, you have to turn on the and URL is in target scope, so that it will only capture the request from the URLs which are in the target scope. Now I will go to proxy, turn off my intercept, and I will now start navigating the application so that my target tab is being populated. So as you can see, the unencrypted communication is shown because it's a vulnerability, because they are not using HTTPS, they are using only HTTP. Now let me go to account, click on login, not yet a customer. Now let me see if I can just put 123 as an email, but this says that email address is not valid. That's a good thing. So I will create an account as say test@test.com. I will now check for a single digit password, but it says that password must be 5 to 20 characters long. But again, let me see if it accepts. Again, I will give one digit security answer 1 2 3 4 5. But still, if you see that they allow a weak password, so in a pen testing engagement, this can be considered as a security issue depending upon your client. But in a bug bounty, they only consider if you are able to put only single digit of password. Now sometimes what happened that due to some semantic mistakes, that I entered a password over here, but let's say I entered 6 over here, the password do not match, right? So I went ahead and I said 6 and 7 over 6 over here. Now 6 over here, the password match, but I removed this from here. Right now there is 1 2 3 4 5, but there is 1 2 3 4 5 6, but if you see, there is no error actually, right? So let me click on register. That is off. Once again, okay, the registration was successful. It was taking some time. So repetitive registration, follow the dry principle while registering a user. Some challenges completed. I am not looking at those challenges as of now. So remember, this is a demo test application meant to be for learning purpose. So there will be a lot of things, a lot of challenges which you will see, like challenge completed. So this is not our game. Now let's say what we can do next from here. Now what I will go is I can see that there is this account. Let me register a valid user account, harsh@harsh.com, password harsh, some security question, and say harsh. And it's taking a little time, I guess. Let me just try once disabling the proxy. It says email must be unique because I have used hersh@hersh.com. So this is again an issue that they are exposing the username. They are exposing the valid user enumeration. So a valid user enumeration can be done through user registration page. In pen testing, it can be reported. Now, one more thing that I want to show you here is you can go to proxy options and then you can say unhide hidden form fields and prominently hide them. This sometimes will give you some hidden form fields and can also lead you to some nice security issues. Let me see if there is any hidden form field. So for now, there is no hidden form field, so that's a good thing. So now let me register as a hersh@hersh.com, password hersh, some security question, and you can see that this cannot be changed later. So as an attacker, I will try to change this later, right? And let's say hersh. I will quickly say register and wait for it. While it registers my account, this application is working a little slow than expected, maybe because of the proxies on. Check. Just turn on this task execution for a while. Refresh this page. Okay, seems to be some issue with this particular proxy setup right now, but let me just quickly go to account and log in because I already have an account. So the next thing is I will try log in with some random password. Sometimes application just allow you to log in with the random passwords. I have seen this in previous pen test where you can do this. Let me turn on the proxy. This same. This application is loading a little while, taking a while to load, so we will be a little patient for it. It works. I will close the proxy for a time being because I guess this is causing some trouble over here. Again, paste it and see if I can do something. Let it load. While it's getting loaded, we will just quickly check if we found something else in our dir search, but seems like nothing interesting as of now. It's just doing checking for the various endpoints. Nothing so far. Okay. So the next thing that I will check over here is go to this forget password functionality. But for some reason, I guess I can do that. So I will say hersh@hersh.com. And then the security question is something which I don't know. And due to some reason, I am not able to select those fields. There's still some issue with loading the application, it seems. Go back to the login page, not a customer yet. hersh@hersh.com, hersh, and then let's say there is some issue with this application as of now. It's not responding. It should, the way it should. Try hersh@hersh1.com. Sometimes when you do pen test, you will often encounter such scenarios where you will see that a lot of components might not be working as the way they should, right? So there are a multiple solution to this. The best way is to approach the client and see if there is actually some trouble. Meanwhile, I have one more instance up luckily, so I will just let it go and I will just now look at the another instance. So at this particular instance, let me just quickly check some other things like let me just use the search functionality, search something. Okay, input is reflected. The first thing I will test over here is for the HTML injection. Seems like it's working because usually you see the text over here, but now to confirm, I will just add an HR tag and let's see. Okay, the horizontal line is injected. Now the next goal is to inject in cross-site scripting. Script alert one is a simple payload that I will just put over here. Sorry for the bad. Seems like it's not getting executed for some reason. The next thing I will try for svg slash onload equals to alert one. Something is happening, but no pop-up box. So it might be possible that the alert boxes are like sanitized. So I will say confirm one. No confirm box again. The next thing that I'm going to try is image tag. I'm using some event handlers with the image tag, and as expected, I can now have an XSS. So this is the simple way that how I check for the various payloads. You can fuzz it, you can use polyglots. That's totally up to your preference. Now, just showing that alert one always is not impactful. So for the best possible scenario, since I am not authenticated, I will use document.domain. Click over here and there we go. This is a reflected XSS over here. Now let's see what else I can do over here. I will say I will try to host an iframe. Stars equals to X. JavaScript alert one. So I can host a JavaScript. I can basically host something over here, but this actually loads the iframe itself. So let me just quickly change payload to XXS. I don't see anything sensitive over here. So already we have found the cross-site scripting. Now let me again go back. Let's go to this customer feedback option. It says author as anonymous and you can add some comments. Let me say I want to say test for something here. Result is 1 minus -8 -3 is -10. I'm bad at maths. Just let it rate. Thank you for your feedback. So this feedback gets submitted over somewhere. So this is some endpoint where you can check for the blind accesses. We'll look at it later on. Then there is something, some link given over here. Let's just quickly go to this link. Let me just change it to English. And again, this is more of because of being an application. So this was giving me this legal.md path so that I can again traverse back and access the FTP directory, which we already did. Okay, so then let me go to this photo wall page. There is nothing. Let me see view page source. And there is actually nothing, I guess, which should be of my interest. There is a YouTube video link. Let me quickly go and check what's there. There is some link to a video. I guess that might be some CTF related video where there will be something. They will have some, like, let me go to this thing. So basically this is more of a CTF style over here. So this is something I am not interested in because this is we don't see usually when we do a pen test, right? So let me go to here, reviews. As you can see that as an unauthorized user, I cannot post a review or I cannot do any review thing here. Now we will go back to account, click on login. Let's test for SQL injection over here. This is something that I am checking for the authentication bypass. So again, there is some challenge which is solved. So there is something happening. Let me go to inspect. And let me again click on login. And let me search for, let me open the page source instead. View page source. I don't see any error as such in the page source. So I guess inspect will help me understand what is happening over here right now. So this is the division. I will just quickly see why this error is coming up. This object error. This is the login form. Sometimes you will get a lot of information by looking at the inspect element, like why something is happening, if there is some description over here. So I see that there is nothing interesting as of now. Is this email field? So there is nothing interesting as of now. I will let it be. Just open this. Let me try a simple SQL injection. Let's say or 1 equals to 1 minus minus plus and any password. And luckily we logged into the admin user's account. This is super awesome. So this application is vulnerable to a simple SQL injection. I'll again quickly show you what I was able to do. I logged out of the application. I went to this login page. First tried for injecting a single quote. You can try for a double quote. So depending upon the various database, you will see different response. I said or 1 equals to 1, which is a true condition, and then I commented the rest of the query so that the password is not validated. Whatever you give in the password doesn't matter at all. And I'm logged in as an admin user. And this is awesome. So now since I am logged in as an admin user, there might be some interesting functionalities. Let me see. As you can see, there are functionalities like deluxe membership, photo wall, complaint, as we see on a normal user. Apart from that, I don't see anything else than that. Okay, so I can upload a file, I can set a username, I can give a URL over here. So there are a lot of things basically which I can do from here. So I will look at it at a while. I just will set a username as a Hirsch. And the username is set. For file upload, I will just quickly go. I will go to tools, go to payloads. Let's upload in secure files. I will upload a file for cross-site scripting first. Let's see where is cross-site scripting. I will upload an SVG file. Let's say upload a picture. And as you see that there is some error that you cannot upload an application XML files, which is something we have to bypass maybe. So it checks for the content type, because as you see that it tells me that you cannot upload a SVG XSS file. So it's probably checking for the content type. So let me upload some different file formats. I will upload this JPEG file. Now I will open this image in new tab, but the payload is not getting executed. So that's okay. Since this is upload directory, and I tried to access the upload directory, but again, I cannot access it. So that sounds okay. The next thing that I can check here is to upload some file with metadata. Let me upload in secure files. Let's upload an ICAR file, but I don't think so they will allow this. MIME type is undefined. So definitely they are checking things based upon the MIME type. So we will refire burp suit in a while so that our application won't break. First, we will look for other things. So definitely they are doing something interesting over here. They are kind of doing some MIME type validation on the file upload. So we will check it. Also, as you can see that you cannot change the email once it's set. So we will also try to change the email once we will fire up the burp suit again. Let me check what all functionalities are there which I can go and potentially look for vulnerabilities. There are some saved orders and some privacy security, and there are some change password functionality. So this is again something, since I don't know the password currently, I'm not opting to change the password, but I will just say randomly some test, and then I will say test1 and test1. Let's see if I can change the password. Seems like the password is changed. Let me just, let's say test1, then the password test. I'm not sure if the password is changed or not, and the best way is to log in with admin at their juice-sh.op and password test. Admin at the rate juice.sh-op and password being test. Invalid email or password. So I already have SQL injection. I don't need a password for the admin user. I logged in. I typed the email wrong, I guess. So I will just again attempt admin at the rate juice.sh.op test. Again invalid email or password, so the password was not changed. Forget password. I will say okay. Admin at the rate juice-sh.op 123. Wrong answer to the security question because I don't know the security question yet, so I will attempt it again after a while. For now, let's just SQL our way in. Okay, so this is something that we have already done. We have done accesses. We have done like we checked if we can basically perform an authentication bypass. We look for sensitive data exposures. We looked for the various things like how we check for TLS misconfiguration, security headers, and other things. Now let's just look at some other things as well. So as you see that there are only 3 melons left. So let me see if I can add more than that to my cart. Add to basket, add to basket, add to basket. There is some issue with the melon. I can only add 3 melons, right? This is something, the validation that they are putting on the client side, but I'm not sure if they are putting the same validation on the server side. So what I will do next is I will again fire on my burp suit, and we will see in a while that how we can check for other security issues as well.